welcome to your regular Wednesday fix. That is MRC, our extreme show that, as Mark Hodgson always claims, must go on, does go on once again. Who would have thought it? Tonight we are at a track that Lando Norris once dubbed a roller coaster and sang the song "I'm moving up and down, side to side like a roller coaster." Might be a reason for that, which we will allude to later. And when I say we, I am absolutely thrilled tonight to be finally joined by my fellow Leeds fan. The Baby Hornet and the Bailey Blowhole are together on comms. It's finally happened. Simon, hello, my friend.
Good evening. How are you doing, Chris?
Oh, I'm a happy bunny. We've got cars on track. We've got two very good people in the comms box. What more can I want on my Wednesday night? Oh, Connor drifting, which I've just seen already. There we go. Here we go.
Just to top it off.
Oh, I'll tell you what. I was going to say I'm moist, but yeah, we'll get taken off the air anyway. With what we're going to do. Anyway, so how are we? You all good?
Yeah, all good. Cracking on. Glad that my contribution to Portugal is over.
Yeah, I can definitely. I'm going to shadow your thoughts there and say the same. Monday was stressful. For those of you who did not watch Monday, shame on you. What were you doing that was so important that you missed MRC? And if you tell me it was watching the FIFA World Cup, well, as much as I love football, that is not a valid excuse. And thank you to anyone who has joined today and not watching the very important Argentina versus Poland or Mexico versus Saudi Arabia in Qatar. So, Baby Hornets, you're a big fan of Alfa Romeo. Connor, in his Alfa, is coming around the final corner. Do you want to talk us through a quick lap of the Circuito de Algarve?
Absolutely. So here we come down the pit straight. Very, very long pit straight. You want to be braking around 75 metres, which Connor does very nicely. Just keeps it on the track. Gets on the power nicely. Down to second gear. And keeps it quite tidy through there. Very easy to oversteer out of this corner, but he's kept it together nicely. So you're looking to brake around 100 metres down to here to second gear. Keep it in nice and tight and get on the power nice and early, as Connor does. Looking very good through here. It's more of a lifting corner here, and he keeps it together very nicely. This is very easy to lose it, but that's very, very tidy and gets on the power nice and early. You're already seeing why it's called a roller coaster. Keep it nice and wide and then tuck it in close. That's very nice and gets on the power early. Coming up now, want to brake down to about second gear, which he does. And then not too early on the power here, and then get on as early as you possibly can, and he keeps it very, very tidy through there. And then just keep your foot planted all the way around. He's going to get a nice little slipstream here to the line. 119.4.
Great start to the session already. 3 Ferrari powered cars at the top with a mid to low 19, and then Sambal in the Williams, beautiful Williams in 20, and our friend Melvin in the McLaren also with a low 20. Track limits are going to be a problem today. I believe we saw lots of it on Monday, and all of it is. How do you find the track limits here? It's a tricky one, isn't it?
I think I peaked at 11 seconds of penalties, so not great. I'm not going to lie to you.
Yeah, I mean, turn 1 for me was the cause of I picked up a 3-second penalty in total. I had 5 limits for track limits. Oh, Rob Smith's gone round it.
Yeah, just saw that.
Yeah, that's a horrible corner, that one. I really detest it. But yeah, turn 1, it's very easy to get it wrong, and that's why I got all of my warnings. I'm sure plenty will pick them up today. Boothie pops it to P6 with the 19.7 in the Haasmobile.
Very nice little banker lap there.
Not bad at all. It's quite a hard one to get the ERS recharged up at here, so we might not see too many people do back-to-back or even a lap followed by a cooldown lap, just because the recharge on ERS is that bad.
Yeah, it's really, really terrible around here.
Yeah, you're looking 5 to 8% recharge per lap when you're in the standard medium ERS recharge mode, so in the race, if you deplete your battery, you'll be a sitting duck on what is a colossal long stretch from the final corner into turn 1. You leave yourself very vulnerable. Stringy B in the other half, which just touched on his teammate, the Booth. Stringy comes around the final corner. His ERS is flashing, so he's not using his ERS, I've just noticed. So clearly he's aborted this lap. Let's stay on board with him and see how he takes it. Let's look from outside the car this time. Get your comments in the YouTube chat if you wish to say hello. Of course, we would love to see you all. Boa tarde to Anthony, who I believe is part Portuguese, unless I heard the stream wrong on Monday when I watched it back. Bergen, who's reserving today, says the weather looks very confusing, like there may be some hail. I tell you what, if it's anything like Tier 1 and Tier 2, which both had some elements of rain throughout the day on Monday, this could be exciting. Stringy B again, not using his ERS on this lap. What is he planning?
That is
the ultimate sandbag if Jay Sarge was to ever comment on such a thing, which he likes to. Right, seeing as he's not ERSing, let's find someone who is. Giban, who's reserving in the Red Bull today. He's currently P11 with 21.8. Rob Smith has invalidated his lap.
He's not having much luck so far, is he?
No. Ty Clear, he's on an outlap in the Alpha Dowry. Ghost Rider, back with us in MRC after a period away. He's in the Mercedes, which is one of your favourite cars, isn't it, Simon?
I don't remember this conversation, no.
Oh, I remember the Race of Champions and how you really wanted to race in the Mercedes. I remember it like it was yesterday.
Oh yeah, the excitement was just unbearable.
It was! Connor Hardy. Hello, Connor Hardy. We love you too.
Ah, what a sweetie.
He says he loves us. I tell you what, I do like him sometimes. He's alright as our Connor.
Sometimes.
He does get a bit mardy though, but anyway, yeah. Let's see how Ghost Rider finishes his lap. Yeah, I've just noticed his colour coordinated his helmet to match the Mercedes, and he pops it to P7. Respectable lap, 19.8. That's a very respectable time.
Very nice lap.
7 tenths off our current pole position driver, which is the man, the myth, the legend, Konnichiwa Beach, the man hailing from South Africa. Stepping up from Tier 4 to Tier 3 this season, and he's doing a rather good job. He looks like he's just at home in this team already. Lovely to see.
He does some absolutely rapid qualifying laps, Konnichiwa.
He does. He's currently in the pits, so we can't jump on board with him, but let's say hello to Kaiser Soze in the Alpine, currently P2. Speaking of hellos, Gavin Jenkins and Mandy Grantham popping up to say hello, good day to us all in the chat of YouTubes, as has the Booth and Giban. So hello everybody. There's a running theme, and I need to confess this on the stream whilst we're all here. I am a curse. In fact, all the commentators are, but me especially. There's only been one person I've not ruined the race of when I've said they were going to win, and that is Stube in Tier 2 at Brazil. Every other race that I've done comms on, anyway, I have ruined their race by saying they were going to win. They've gone on to have a disaster. Not just slightly, but a disaster. So
it could be worse. Every single person I seem to go on stream to when I'm leading just seems to spin.
Yeah, I don't quite have that kind of curse. Although Kaiser says a purple sector 1. Let's not say too much about that. Let's not ruin it for him. We don't want to give him an excuse.
Nope.
But yeah, I mean, between us, we are just poison chalices. We ruin everyone's day. Yes.
Banstorp's just had a purple middle sector.
We'll come back. Actually, yes, we'll go and jump on board with him because he's further on the lap, and we'll come back to the Soze. So, Toby, the latest and newest member of our very much flourishing comms team, flies around that final corner, really pushing the G's up on the outside tyres. He stays fourth, but he does improve by just over a tenth of a second, so 19.4. Jump back to Mr. Soze. He's 3 tenths up in the middle sector, so this could put him on provisional pole position. Here we go. Takes a tighter line than most on the exit of the final corner. Runs straight to the line, and it's a 18.9. We're into the 18s. Cracking lap.
Fantastic lap by Kisa there.
Yes, he'll be a very happy man with that. Right. The man he's just displaced is the Ferrari driver, Mr. Konnichiwa of South Africa. It's weird. Konnichiwa was a Japanese word.
Yeah,
he's an Italian car.
By that name, but
it's a weird one. let's see what Connie can do. Because ultimately, he is, as you just said, a man with some ridiculous pace. And frankly, actually, you know what? I'm going to give him some credit here. In MRCX 100% race in Brazil, we did a couple of weeks ago, he gave me some food for thought. Now, without being too cocky here, I'm 2 tiers above him, so I shouldn't really have to worry about him. But with good fairness to him, he has some ridiculous pace. So don't be surprised to see Connie at the end of the season knocking on the door at the top end of the table. And he's just at a purple first sector, so we're not cursing him just yet. We're hyping him up, and it's going well.
So far.
I mean, I'm going to stop saying nice things because I feel like there's only so far we can go with this. Hold on a minute.
That's very nice.
There's a roar in the comms chat of YouTube. Someone's woken up Aslan. He says, "Evening, boys," and he's saying there's a load of rabble. Simba, we said things about God's own county.
We have indeed.
Indeed. Martin Hills, I never want to say his comments on the stream because after what he did to Gav in Singapore with the soup comment, I never want to say his comments in case he's playing a trick. So good evening, Mr. Hills. I get scared that you're trying to bait me into a comment that could actually be something it's not meant to be. Anyway, Konnichiwa comes round, he goes to 86! What a lap! He's just found 3/10 on Kiza. Half a second up on his previous time. He just saw the bar and thought, I'm not going to just leap over it, I'm going to fly over it. Connor, he's now on the final sector on a new lap. He's a 10th up at the end of the sector 2. What can he do? Connor does improve, but not enough to jump up any further on the grid. So, who can we find? Gavin.
Gav is
now.
4/10 up.
So, here's my prediction, right? Gav said earlier on in some private messages, which I'm going to make not so private because Gav is not a private man, that he's not going to do well today. But he's just on an 18.8. Right, Gav, if you could stop sandbagging free race and chatting rubbish, then I won't have to abuse you in that Rangers helmet that you're sporting when you're a Celtic fan. How about that? Look at it, it's very blue. Just look at that, it's blue.
He doesn't have a head on my screen.
Oh, well, that is outrageous. Has he been to Qatar and been found to have taken part in things there which are human rights based? Let's leave that there. Let's not get in too much trouble. Anywho, Scratch Charisma now. Mr. Scratch. He had a bad season last year. He dropped down from Tier 2 to Tier 3, and the season before that, he was in Tier 1. So we know that Mr. Scratchy has got some pace. His real name's Brendan, by the way. Real name Brendan.
Is it?
Just like Brendan Aronson, another person you may have heard of.
Yes, I have heard of him.
Some of us might have heard of him. Now, Scratch, rather quick, guys. I'm not sure if he's on an in lap or an out lap, but he's a 10th up on his best time with no ERS. So, interesting one. I believe that on his day, when Scratch can absolutely nail the car, he could give anyone in MRC, I mean anyone, a real run for their money. I truly mean that. He is absolutely ridiculous on his day.
Oh yeah, he was my teammate for a few races a couple of seasons ago, and he is unbelievably quick when he hooks it up.
He is another man who, again, when he really gets a lap together, causes some trouble. Sambao in the Williams, my favourite car. Currently in P10, he's jumping in the pits to get a fresh set of boots on. I'm sure he'll want to improve on that time. Ty Clear, currently his best lap he set is on a medium. He's currently P13. He's 1.2 seconds up as he comes into that final sector. So let's see where he goes. Of course, the soft tyre now on the AlphaTauri, the much faster compound, of course. If you're unaware of the tyre compounds, I'm not going to explain it to you. Just get with it. Or as Mr. Simba says, do it for Yorkshire.
Do it for Yorkshire.
And Ty Clear, P8, that's a great time. Big improvement.
Very nice.
Right, who else can we find? Mr. Bits, the notorious BIT, Bitty Smalls, the creator of the McBitty's Hobnob, in the Spinny Willy Helicopter Boy. Right, he's on the mediums. Now, he is a Tier 2 driver, so he's reserving from a tier above. He is not allowed to set a time on a soft tyre. He has to set it on the mediums, or an inter if he really wants to be brave and put on a wet tyre, or just not at all. So McBitty is just popping out and setting a lap on the mediums. Bergen been disqualified from the session for parking his car somewhere. Well, Bergen's just a silly insert word here. I have to spend far too much time working with him, and frankly, it's a chore. I love him really, and he knows that. Anthony and Calvin are also drivers from tiers above who are not allowed to set time on anything other than a medium or nothing at all. Bit pops it into P10. Cracking lap, 19.8 for a medium as well.
Yeah.
Very respectable time, actually.
Very respectable on mediums.
Mandy Grantham had a thought, so I want to see what your thoughts on this are, Mr. Simon of the Baby Hornet.
Okay.
So, the curse, we were mentioning our beloved curse earlier, and obviously
Yes.
we know the curse is real. If you don't believe in the curse, get a grip. It's real.
It is.
So, Mandy says, anyone we curse with our powers, and she's not acknowledged it's a power, it is powers, could they put in a complaint against us and get penalty points applied to me and you? I think that as well. I'm voting no. Sorry, Mandy, I respect you and all, but no, I'm not taking points just because I say insert driver here is going to have a good race and then they spin. By the way, Bit has just gone purple. I'm not sure if it actually is purple because it's disappeared, but he's half a second up. So what we thought was a very respectable lap, he could be about to go 5th if he maintains his pace in the final sector, although he's out of VRS. McBitty flies around that final corner. Where is he going to put it?
Melvin just had a purple first sector. Oh, and he spun!
But he's gone 7th! Right, Melvin! No! Right, Melvin, you know who to blame. It's not me, it's Simon. Report Simon. That's SGPR, brackets, Baby Hornets, brackets, Simon. Not me. It wasn't me, Melvin.
Bad. I spun Melvin.
Oh, but he's just got to turn 3! Okay, right. That one I'll take some blame for, Bit. But you are in the spinny willy, so that's your own fault.
Oh, Melvin.
Right, Scratch Charisma, we touched on him earlier. He's half a second nearly up. Currently, this would put him maybe 3rd or 4th, depending on how his final sector goes.
Yeah.
He's actually got some ERS this time, so he can.
That always helps.
Yeah, it does actually. Gav is in the YouTube chat saying he's chasing down Konnichiwa. Well, I hate saying this, Gav, but you're not on track right now, so you can't chase him down if you're not on track.
Yeah.
Are you just conceding defeat? Scratch goes P9, 18.9. Wait, no, P3. Okay, my graphic was weird. P3 with an 18.9. Cracking lap. Who can
Excuse me, not 10 points for Simon. Leave me alone, Mark.
10 points for Simon as Simba. You know what? If either of us are going to get it, it's got to be that way. Oh, okay, yeah, fair. For the bit comment, I'll take 5 points. Fine. So Scratch crashed at turn 1 after that lap. Not sure what happened there, but I'm sure that will get visited later. Anywho, who's on track? Boothie! He's a quarter of a second up, and he's flying. That was in the first sector, he's a quarter second up. Mate, the right-hander who's just gone through there, such a clumsy corner, and he's got a big twitch on the exit. Where is he now? He's just over 4/10 up at the end of the second sector. Boothie, is he going to be a surprise package of qualifying? Could he pop it into the 118s as well? He's ran out of VRS though. Ooh, very twitchy on the final acceleration zone. Here he goes through that final corner. It's that tight line. I'm not sure how I feel about it. It's just slightly scrubbing off too much speed. Goes P7, 19.4. Right, Melvin, your boy Melvin, who you wrongfully cursed. You did that to Melvin. He goes 17th place as Boothie. Yes. Great lap, Melvin. I just helped Melvin. Does that mean I lose that 5 points that I cursed Bit with because I helped Melvin?
Thank you for saving
Is that how it works?
Oh my gosh.
No, it's not how it
works. I don't get points because Melvin's my boo and I don't...
What? Wait. Are you cheating on me and Connor?
No.
Whoa. Look, listen here, Mr. Simon. By the way, I've just noticed very quietly we've managed to somehow not acknowledge that Calvin also set time in mediums at 19.7.
Oh, yes.
To the 19.4. But most importantly, Konnichiwa Beach is the pole sitter, the man on pole. Second place, Night Shadow. Again, he's a Billy Tool Spitter. That's what I'm going to say to replace the other word, because Yeah. Oh, Simba says that I don't get a penalty because I helped Melvin, but you keep your 10 points, by the way. But most importantly, we'll get back to the main event. The man from South Africa, Kenichiwa Beachin, the Italian stallion of the Ferrari, is on pole position. Checker you out. He's actually from Scotland, not the Czech Republic, but Night Shadow, P2. IKEA, Zlatan Ibrahimovic, Barnstorp, P3. And Karim Scratch Benzema in P4. Carries Soze, P5. Cracking up in the Alpine. Connor, P6, Melvin P7, Boothie 8th, Ghost Rider 9th, and 10th for Bit, 11th for Ty Clear, Stringy B 12th, Calvin P13 with Rob Smith 14th, Sambal, Giban, Backmazo, B17, Ant and Bergen make up the rest of the grid. Right, curse time. Okay, right, so obviously, for those who don't know, any reserve driver from a tier above will have positions taken off of them at the end of the following session. So, to quote Gav in the YouTube chat there, here we go. Yes, indeed, here we go. That looks sunny. So, let's curse. Let's go.
Yes.
Who are you going with, Simon? Who are we cursing?
I am going to put my money on Gav, actually.
Gav?
Because he said he was going to do terrible, and then he got P2 in qualifying, so I think there's some unseen pace there.
He does this a lot, doesn't he? And I'm starting to think it's a bit of a ruse,
Absolutely. So who are you cursing?
You know what? I'm going to go for an outside. I'm going to go for a dark horse, okay? So, I'm going to go with Melvin, P7 on the grid in the McLaren.
Don't you dare curse my Melvin after I just did it in qualifying.
Listen here, Hornets. Listen here, Sunshine. If El Melnino scores himself a cheeky win today, you can thank me later. And I think Melvin's gone for the right strategy call, because no one is starting on the soft tire today. We have a firm mix of mediums and hards, and of course the one-stop strategy is the preferred option. You can be a brave lunatic like myself, Bergen, Carl Edens, and some other drivers. Many people from tiers 1 and 2 on Monday, and go hard at the start, and then just flop soft at the end. Or you can start on the mediums, go onto a hard at some point later in the race. It's an easy one-stop strategy, frankly. Or you can go hard medium if you just don't like the softs. So, yeah, you can see the tyre graphic there. Have a look at who your favourite drivers are and what tyres they're on. The majority of the drivers at the front end of the grid are on mediums. But, the exception to that rule is Gav in P2. So, the two drivers we've gone for, Melvin and Gav, both on the hards, interestingly.
I found that the hards were actually a really good race tyre at the start.
I personally agree, although I have to say the mediums rather nice, and I regret not going on to the mediums. I regret putting on the soft.
I hate the medium tyres in Portugal. I absolutely hate them.
Oh, this is bizarre. I've also just noticed that Aston Martin duo of Tobias Barnstorpio and Scratchius Charismius are 3rd and 4th together.
They are.
And just as we stop talking about tyres, the tyre graphic comes up but says start on the softs, and no one's done that. Codemasters and EA, sort it out, get your act together, please.
All I'm going to say, Chris, is having said that you haven't cursed Melvin, he's spun twice on his outlap.
Listen here, he's just getting it out and over and done with nice and early, which means, ultimately, that later on, El Melnino does not have to worry about this later. So, I'm helping him get out and over and done with early,
If Gav has a shocker, it's 50 points to Simon. No, it's not, Mark.
I agree. Yep. El Simba, you're correct, my friend. Anyway, let's get rid of the graphics. We have a formation lap completed. Well, just about. The last couple of cars are taking their space on the grid. That's Bergen and Anthony on the back row. Come on, boys. You meant to be tier 1 boys. You know how to start a car up on the grid, don't you? Well, you should by now.
Apparently not.
Anywho, we have some lights. So, your race begins, and the lights are out. Here we go. Kenichiwa off the line, looks to be quite clean. The field's spreading wide and nice, but Kenichiwa's flying. Wow, what's the getter? We've got an Alpine up into P2. Both of the Astons have dropped positions at the start. Kaiser Soze, fantastic start. Night Shadow, Barnstorp and Scratch have all lost positions. But look who's up to P5. Sambo's only just started moving. It looks like he's got an issue. He's reversing. He's a reverse on the grid.
Yeah, he hasn't moved on my grid yet.
Yeah, he's moved slightly. Anyway, Konnichiwa leads after the first sector, and Sambo's been disqualified. He's clearly, it must be a glitch. Kaiser Soze P2, Barnstorp P3, Night Shadow, disaster start from the Flying Scotsman, down to P4 from that front row start. Our beautiful friend, this is Melvin, is up to P5 with the Haas Duo, Stringy and Boothie, 6th and 7th. Connor's gone backwards a bit on the grid too, he's down to P8. Calvin, a big mover in P9. Actually, let's have a quick look at the movers and the shakers. Bit, P10, Ghost Rider and Rob Smith in the Mercedes Duo, 11th and 12th. Gibb and Bergen both making moves. And Scratch has had a disaster. 4th on the grid, down to 15th. Absolute nightmare for him.
It's really disappointing.
Yeah, shocker. Ty Clear again losing 5 positions. B17 in the Ferrari makes one up, and then there's Bat Mazo and Ant just hanging on at the back. Looks like they both had collisions in that first lap. So, yeah, the big winners here, Bergen, Calvin, and of course Stringy B. They are the 3 big movers so far. Bat Mazo pitted. It looks like he's probably got some wing damage. It's a shame for him, but I'm sure plenty will occur in this race to bring him back into play.
Absolutely.
Right. So you've cursed Gav because he's lost 2 positions off the start, and I've helped Melvin because he's found 2 positions.
There's a lot of racing left to do. Gav can pull it back.
There is, and I'm sure he can. But Melvin, look at him. He's chasing down Gav. Melvin, stay on track, lad. That's not how you do. Melvin, come on, Melvin. I mean, my commentators were meant to be non-biased, but one can't help but take a liking to certain people.
Yes.
You know, it's just a fact. You know, even Martin Brundle has a liking for certain people, and a dislike for Hamilton in particular, which I don't understand why he doesn't like him. Anyway, Stringy B looking very hungrily at the back of that McLaren of Melvin, and we have a yellow flag in the first sector. Back Mazo. What has happened to Back Mazo? He's just pitted and spun.
Yeah, I mean, well, the cold tyres around here are really, really cold.
This is very true. That first sector being so technical in the tyres as well. You come out the pits or from the race start and you have no grip.
Yeah, absolutely.
See, I found the overcut on Monday, watching Tier 2 and then racing Tier 1, I found the overcut was more powerful on that first lap or 2, just because of how much time you lost when you first come out the pits. You can then hold people up in that middle sector whilst you get your tyres together. Oh, Stream's just on a big moment, turn 4!
Oh, yes!
Just called out on Stream, and that's just given Melvin a bit of room to breathe. But brought Stringy into the clutches of his teammate Boothie. He's also under big attack from our good friend Connor. Calvin in the the Red Bull even. Oops, big mistake that one. In P9 on the hard tyre, chasing them down. Oh, got bit, fighting hard with Rob Smith. He's just split the Mercedes duo for P11.
He's having a very good start here.
He is.
Scratch
Christmas made up a place. On his way back through the field, obviously he had a great qualifying P4 and is now on the way back. He needs to recover some positions. Love you to see him come back through the field. Getting a nice little overhead camera shot here, so we'll stick with it and watch the Aston Martin through the final 2 corners. Actually, tell you what, this game, the helicopter shots are much better than the previous game, I have to say.
They really are. It's a really nice shot.
I mean, right now we're not seeing much of a fight, but it's just great watching I mean, you can see the undulations very clearly through this overhead shot. In fact, we've got an overtake potentially coming. Rob Smith with DRS on the Williams of Bit. He looks at the inside, but Bit hangs on, just has enough. If you're not firmly alongside there, you can find yourself very much vulnerable to being cut across and spinning if you're trying to make a move.
Yeah, absolutely you can.
Oh, Stringy B, the first driver today to pick up a penalty. And now we're seeing Scratch make a move on Rob Smith up the inside into turn 5. Candy from a baby. The inside line there is crucial. Can he come back on the exit? No, Scratch has closed him off, it seems.
Very good defending there from Scratch.
Indeed. We've got a yellow flag.
Oh,
Who's gone round?
At a moment.
Oh no, Tobias. He's recovered it. He's back on track, but he's just dropped down to 8th. He was P3. That promotes your man, Mr. Gav, back up into the podium spot. He's 2.2 behind Soze at the moment, and he's got a nice gap behind him to Melvin. I think there's a few people who are all aboard the Melvin train. If you look in the bottom right of your screen, there's a nice little formation going on behind him. So that doesn't mean that Melvin's slow, it just means that they are using the slipstream and DRS to pull him in. Because Melvin is not slow.
It is a very difficult track to overtake on.
It is, but as we look back from the McLaren, in fact, look at the flap action on the Stringy B Haas. Look at that flap. Melvin's got just enough straight line speed there to hang on. Actually, those two pulled away from Boothie and Connor. Ooh, Connor has a real look at Boothie there through turn one. Is Connor hungry? Because it looks like he's going to eat away at that rear wing of the Haas.
But Boothie does get a very nice exit onto the DRS straight.
He does. He's defending very well. I'm going to nickname him Liam Cooper.
Ooh, nice.
Now then. I think we should have an award for Flop of the Day. We'll call it the Luke Ayling Award. The Luke Ayling Flop of the Day Awards. The Ayling Flop. Yes. Who are we going to give this to? So we'll give this to the driver at the end of the day who's lost the most positions from the grid slot. Yes. Without DNFing. Oh, we've got Ghost Rider with bit all over him. Watching the cars follow through here is so hard. There's so many different lines you can take. But ultimately, getting past, as you touched on, Simon, is so hard. It's just impossible at times.
Yeah, I mean, it's such a technical track that just finding the space is so difficult, and it's really hard to follow in dirty air on this track as well.
It is. I mean, Bit's trying all sorts of things to try and find A, the grip, and B, just an opening to shove his nose in. I mean, shoving your nose in, getting yourself a nice clean finish and a move. We'll call it Patrick Bamford-esque.
Yes.
Yes, it looks like Bit trying that alternative line, trying to cut inside. Didn't quite work for him, and it lost him too much time in that final sector. Charisma going very wide. We'll say that, we'll call it offside going wide at turn one like that. You can't run wide like that. It's going to cost you time. You'll get penalties, my friend.
Exactly. Oh, Banstorp looks to have made a move on Mr. Connor Hardy.
He has. I'm sure some DRS, some doctor's flap will have been used in that overtake. Of course, most overtakes that happen here do happen in turn one. That said, look at Stringy B on the back of Melvin. If he was any closer, he would be tickling Melvin on the back, giving him a nice little massage. You know, relaxing good time on a Wednesday night.
But Melvin defends very well through there.
He does, although I fear Melvin with only 30% ERS, taking very defensive lines already in these corners. Stringy surely on this next straight is going to have him if he gets a clean exit. Watch back from the McLaren rear wing. Stringy very twitchy there actually on acceleration, but look at him go. Melvin does not have the straight line speed of Stringy. Oh, Stringy's understeered massively at the final corner. Melvin uses the last of his RS. Stringy gets the flap open. Is he going to send one up the inside? He has a look. Oh, not quite on this occasion. Melvin hangs on for another lap.
Very good defending there.
Oh no, yellow flag sector 1. Boothie's gone round. And Stringy's had a moment at turn 4. Has that just allowed Melvin just enough room to breathe?
Oh, but he got an excellent exit onto the DRS.
He did. Melvin's got a moment now. And Stringy's going round the outside of turn 5. Melvin runs him wide, but Stringy is through. What keep saying Boothie? Stringy is through. Great driving. Great recovery after what looked like he'd almost lost it at turn 4. Next up to try and attack Melvin, it's Banstorp. MRC's answer to Zlatan Ibrahimovic. Or Pontus Jansson. Or Yannick Manda. Yeah, any of them. So, the Viking. What do they call Toby Banstorp the Viking? MRC's Viking.
I like that. That's good. We need a Viking in MRC.
I think we do. He's a bit of warrior as our Toby. So, Toby made his debut on comms as well last week. In fact, he did 2 comms in 1 week in his first ever appearance. So, you know what? Let's give him a bit of a fair dues. A fellow commentator of his... He did. And a fellow commentator of his, Melvin, has also got DRS in play. But Toby's got better straight line speed, but just not enough for a move into turn 1, surely. He's going for it. He's gone for it. He's done it. Sorry, he's got a Bailey squeal there. There's a Chris Cry. Oh, he's on wide at turn 4. Is that going to leave Toby vulnerable on the run down? Oh, he's come round! And Toby's hit him! He's been hit! Melvin's hit him! Melvin's got wing damage from that. No!
Yeah, he's lost his whole front wing.
Oh, I think that's... Oh, no, that's 2 in 1. That's 2 curses in 1 for both of us. I think that's a race ban for both of us. I hate to say it, Simon. I'm ready. Simba's going to be typing in. I tell you what. Oh no, Manusha's just calling Rolo. Well, I agree at this stage right now. He just needs to roll over and cry. Oh no, I can just feel Simba's typing. I can feel it. It's something about race ban or permanent ban for us two straight away. Meanwhile, let's just have a quick reminder of our leader, because we've kind of forgotten about him. There's that much going on that we've forgotten we have a race leader. Konnichiwa is running away.
He is.
You think
the top 3 are just properly running their own races at this point.
Konnichiwa's hello in Japanese, but frankly, he might as well be called Goodbye Beach, because he's just gone.
He is long gone.
Goodbye Beach. Kaiser Soze.
Beach.
He's doing his best to keep up with him. He's only 3.6 behind, but he's got a 4-second gap to the third place man. The Scotsman that is our B-Tech David Coulthard. The Crimson Chin. I'm going to call him the Crimson Chin. Because he's an Alfa Romeo, which is red, and he's Scottish like Coulthard, so Crimson Chin.
Okay.
Gav loves a nickname,
better
you know?
Than B-Tech David Coulthard.
Yeah, I don't know, we'll call him both. Gav loves a nickname for everyone else, so Crimson Chin.
To be fair, I'm sure I remember calling you the B-Tech Pierre Gasly.
What, me?
I think you were driving an Alpine for something at one point.
Oh, I must have been reserving. Oh, I would not be seen.
Yeah.
Baguette, bâton, baguette, voiture de la France, avec Pierre Gasly.
That was a high point on comms for me and Connor, where we decided you were the B-Tech Pierre Gasly.
Oh, I forgot about that, but thank you for reminding me. I'm sure when I do tier 2 comms at some point, I will ruin your life. I mean, I will talk nicely about you, darling.
Absolute lies and slander.
Debatable. So, we've got a lapped car, unfortunately. That's back. Is that back Mazo? It is.
Yeah.
Let's have a look. Stringy B. Connor's caught up with Stringy B, and he's dragged a wild Calvin along with him. Another Leeds fan. Let's just get that in there. There's a third Leeds fan involved in this event. Happy days. Connor, mind you, absolutely flying. Let's get the tyre deltas back on the screen. So, right now, Stringy and Connor, both on the mediums, flying along. Calvin, the outlier, on the hard tyre, just like Gav. I think both of these are going to come in good later, but stuck at the speed from Connor. Is he going to have a look at the inside turn 5? He has a look. It's a contact. It's aggression.
Bit of contact.
It looks like Stringy's held on position just in this case. But has Stringy just picked up a penalty from that? Boothie's picked up a time. Oh, Stringy's gone very wide again. He's lost position to Connor. Oh, Connor's at the moment. Connor, no. Oh,
so close,
no.
Connor.
Connor, you've just... Oh, Connor. You've called me a bottle job on an occasion, mate. I'm sorry, Connor, but that... What was that? You've just let through a wild, rampant Calvin.
So disappointing.
Indeed. I do need to tell you some very sad news that's just been released on BBC News. That the lead singer of Fleetwood Mac, which is Christine McVie, obviously Fleetwood Mac made the song The Chain, which is the traditional Formula 1 theme tune, has unfortunately passed away at age 79. Thank you for letting us know, Mr. Hills. Very sad news. Sad news indeed, but we must race on. Calvin, look at him, all over the back of the Haas. We now know that Calvin on a Wednesday night likes to eat Haas.
He does indeed.
His girlfriend must be very happy. We'll leave that there. I don't want to get in too much trouble because I'm not afraid of trouble. Calvin having a look. Oh, Stringy's gone wide. I think Calvin left him room. Stringy's just done the same thing he did with Connor, so it looks like he just wants to preserve and survive. And Calvin, just with a better confidence, goes right round the outside of turns 7 and 8. He loves the move. What's up, says Martin Hills, and hello to the Hodge. Oh dear, Hodgie's here. Right, that's it. No one's safe. Everyone lock up your dads. Hodgie's about. Anywho. Oh, Martin Hills is here, so lock up your bikes. He likes a ride. If you like a ride, get in Martin Hills' DMs. He'll take you for a bumpy time. Sorry, boys, I had to be that guy. Mark Hodgson is a bud, having a bud. Good call. Oh, actually, good calls Foster's. Let's not give them too much praise. Let's talk about Portuguese beer, Sagres. That's a nice beer.
Do you know,
you have one of those?
I've never had a Portuguese beer.
Have you not? That's a good lager.
No.
I'd recommend it. And then there's... What's that one that sponsors Porto? I've forgotten what it's called now. Anyway, we'll come back to that later. Hodgie says lock up who? Well, anyone around you, Hodgie. You're someone who can make things happen. Connor, another man who can make things happen. He's in P6 right now, looking very much keen to make up for that big mistake just a lap or two ago. Speaking of making up for things, Martin Hills is very much into rubber and chains, you kinky creature.
Ooh.
Anyway, let's keep it PG, and by PG, I'm not about PG tips. Yorkshire tea all the way, Yorkshire, Yorkshire, Yorkshire. Bergen, flying through the field. He's a Yorkshireman, but he lives in Lancashire now. Disgusting creature. He's from Bradford, actually.
Is he?
Do it for Yorkshire. He's up to P7 in the Alpha Tauri. The car that he won his Tier 2 championship in, by the way. The Alpha Tauri. Before he made the move to Williams in Tier 1, he saw the light. He's just got past Scratch, and Scratch is chasing him through. So that's two guys who've done very well in Tier 2 and got themselves up into Tier 1, reserving to stay in Tier 3, and showing that they have pace to come through in the race.
Connor's had a moment!
No, Connor, not again! Where's he gone? Connor! Oh, he's gone again! Right, Simon, that's all on you, mate.
I would beg your pardon.
Well, I tell you what, actually, I'm going to blame Martin Hills, because Martin Hills says he's going to grease up his bottom bracket tomorrow. And speaking of greasing up and sliding around, Connor's rear tyre's lit up, so I'm blaming Martin Hills.
Absolutely.
All the way, Martin Hills, race ban.
Disgraceful.
I'm not blaming anyone other than Martin Hills. If anyone wants to report that, screenshot YouTube chat. It's all there, clear to see. Scratch pits and pops a hard on. Make of that as you will. Beats on a soft tyre very early on. He's going for a 2-stop, isn't he?
He definitely is.
Which tyre did he start on? He started on a different tyre. Feel free to have a look at Race Director. I can't share the information with the public because we're too busy looking at Melvin, who's a P18. Oh, Melvin! That front wing change really has scuppered his progress, but of course, he will come back in this race. Mind you, speaking of coming back, can anyone come back at Konnichiwa Beach? He's 5.2 clear of Kaiser Soze now.
Oh my gosh.
Who's 6.5 clear of the Jenkins of Gavin in P3. We've got a yellow flag again.
But it started on the hard tyre, which I find very confusing that he's gone to the soft by lap 13.
Yeah, he's clearly trying an alternative strategy. He's having a bit of fun out there, but yeah, I'm puzzled too by that.
Yeah.
Ghost Rider, P7 by the way. He's having a
very nice little race.
He's having a quiet race, with some interesting comments going on YouTube chat about being really excited and being filthy and other things by Hodgie and Hillsy. I'm going to leave that there because I think those two need to get a room. We get it,
well,
you fancy each other.
You started that conversation.
I take no responsibility for Hills and Hodge.
I think someone has to.
No, I'm neither their mother, their father, their lover, or their brother. So, well, in the case of Hodgie, I'm the lover, but that's another matter. Ghost Rider under big attack from another man who stepped up from Tier 4 last season, Carl Radband, B17. With also a huge MotoGP and motorcycle enthusiast, which, as we know, is outlawed in MRC, and how dare he bring that up the other day.
Absolutely.
Also, Melvin did that too, so shame on you, Melvin. Can't believe I backed you. Anyway, Carl is lining up the back of that Mercedes, his Ferrari rampaging through the field. He started towards the back, but he's making up for it now. Here he comes through the final corner. He's out of ERS, but you know what? So is El Ghosty in P7. The French superstar tries to defend. Here comes V17. No, not this time. He's just too far back. On this occasion, some Norman Hunter-esque defending from... Oh, he's got right! Could this be the moment to pounce? Is B17 going to make a move on the inside or the outside of turn 5? Ghosty inside defense. B17 on the outside. Will he switch back? He's going to try it. Here he goes on the switchback towards turn 6. He's through. Great driving from both of them. Very clean defending and very opportunistic from B17 to get the move done. Great driving. There you go. We've got something clean and fun on stream.
Yes.
That removes from the non-clean.
Just made a quick move on Gibbon as well.
Oh, has he? So he's clearly got those new tyres fired up nicely, and he's making his way back into the pack. Lovely stuff. Ooh, here we go. We've got Toby, the Barnstorp, chasing down Carl McBitty's Hobnob Edens.
Big kick from Bit there on the exit of the corner.
His tyres, those softs, they just look like they're not quite working for him suddenly. He's only been on them 5 laps.
I mean, they don't last a lot longer than 5 laps around here.
What? No, I don't know. I was going to say a silly comment, but I'm going to avoid it. I'm going to be sensible here. The soft tyres here, you can get 10 laps out of them if you're careful.
If you're really careful, but I mean,
I'm not sure what that word means. Oh yeah, they do. The medium is definitely the better tyre to be on when it comes to a race pace, unless you want to gamble on a late one. Unfortunately, it looks to me like Melvin's had a moment at turn 1. He's lost a bit of time. Unfortunately.
Melvin's in... Oh no, he is.
Oh no, it wasn't Melvin, sorry. I lie. It was Anthony.
It must have been, yeah. Melvin's all the way down in Sector 3.
I lied. I'm sorry, Melvin.
You just can't leave the poor boy alone today.
Look. Melvin... No, actually, so a year ago, last Thursday, myself and Melvin joined this league, a year ago last week, together.
And I joined almost exactly a week before you.
Well, listen here, me and Melvin are MRC joining anniversary twins. We hold a special bond for that.
Me and
Kanicha was pitted, by the way! Sorry to interrupt, but Kanicha was in! He's popping a hard on! Oh, I tell you, I'll never grow up and I'll never not say that. So he drops immediately behind the Night Shadow. We did miss Kaiser Soze, also has just pitted as well, just one lap ago. So Kanichwa comes...
Connor, unfortunately.
Yeah, not good. It's going to rack up later in this race. Kanichwa comes back out in P4. He's got Ghosty all over him now. Kanichwa will need to get his tyres heated up nice and quickly and not lose time fighting with the Frenchman in the Mercedes wagon. So, Bergen and Calvin, 2 good friends from the Northwest, both fighting now. The previous 2 champions of Tier 2 are in P3 and 2. Both on the hard tyres, chasing down the Shadow of Nightness, the Banshee Supreme, the Scottish Jester. Not sure what else to call Gav these days. He's Gav.
Everything.
He's just Gav, isn't he?
He is. Tell you what, these 2 Hasses are having a big old battle lap after lap.
Are they having a right ding-dong? Let's have a little... Well, to quote Gunther Steiner, are they looking like rock stars or are they looking like bankers?
Not rock
stars. Let's call it bankers.
Yeah.
Silent W bankers. Yes, string all over the back is Boothie, as you rightfully pointed out. Wow, what a move! Oh my word, you wouldn't think they were teammates from that move from Stringy. You would think he and Boothie were not friends. That was aggressive.
And Hulkenberg this season.
Oh, you know what? I really can't believe that Gunther Steiner is ballsy enough to put those 2 in a team together. That is destined to go wrong. I love Hulkenberg, and I know a lot of people are big fans of Magnussen because he is a very quick driver. And ultimately, the pair of them are both fireworks, ready to go off. Boothie pits, so clearly Stringy had that much more pace on the fresh tyres, and obviously Boothie on the old tyres does pit.
I wonder whether he may have got a bit of damage.
Yeah, that was a very aggressive move from String. The Stringy B. We've gotten the car around to the final sector. I believe it's back Mazer again. He's just not having a good day in the Alpine. Listen here, back Mazer, lad. You've been on those tyres for a while. Pop them off. Get the hards on. If you can, and go to the end. You've spun a fair... Yeah, he's listening to me. Look, some blowhole wisdom coming in strong. It's what the people love to see. It's what the people love to see. It's what people come to MRC for. Nothing else. Just blowhole wisdom.
Absolutely.
It's just part and parcel of the service. I curse people, I give wisdom, and I talk absolute sense and rubbish.
Sometimes.
Yeah, but rarely. So let's give our current race leader a little moment of airtime. Gavin Jenkins is yet to pit on the hards. He's been on them since the start. The Ghost Rider, 5 seconds spin in the pit lane. Ghosty, I was nice about you earlier. Can't be doing things like that, my friends. Second place, Calvin slowly eating into Gavin's lead. Just at a personal best first sector.
Yep.
Just behind him, also slowly reeling him in, is the cockle picker. The man from Morecambe, originally from Bradford, as I said earlier, so Yorkshire, is Mr. Bergen.
He's having a very nice little race, isn't he?
He is last on the grid to currently P3. He's just slowly eating his way through the field. Konnichiwa, our early pole sitter, race leader, and, well, dominating driver at this point in the race so far. He's less than 10 seconds from the lead. Sorry, a lie, he's 11 seconds from the lead. I can't count. He's 11 seconds from the lead at the moment, is Mr. Konnichiwa, but he has pitted. The guys ahead have not. Anthony, another of our Tier 1 reserves, who has, of course, started at the back but not pitted, is in P5. Again, these higher tier drivers, they know what they're doing when it comes to playing the racing game and just slowly working through.
Absolutely, and I mean, for me, Gav is such a tyre whisperer. I'm wondering how far he's going to take these hard tyres.
Yeah, well, Tier 1 yesterday, myself, Bergen, and I believe it was Alaral as well. Us three took the tyres over 20 laps. I know Carl in T2 went the longest, and myself and Carl both did, I think it was 24 laps each, 24, 25 laps on the hards. Yeah. I'll be honest with you, at the end of that, they were, well...
Calvin's had a moment, gone. By the way.
Ooh, Calvin's behind Bergen, you're right, good spot. What has happened there to Calvin?
I think he had a spinny moment. He forgot that he wasn't in a spinny Williams. He doesn't drive a Williams, does he?
He doesn't. He is a man in a Red Bull in Tier 2 as well as today in Tier 3, so that is his car. What do you mean by spinny Williams? Can we just get this filthy slander out of your mouth as Melvin and Bit both pit? Melvin, 5 seconds spinning the pit lane. Melvin, no, this is so not right.
I would just like to point out that this is all Chris's fault, Melvin.
Listen here, Simon. Less of this slander, please. Let's look at Connie. Let's have a look at Konnichiwa. P4, he's on the back of Calvin, as you pointed out, had a moment. So, can Konnichiwa Beach get himself ahead of this Red Bull? Look at the run he's got. So much more grip. He can carry the speed. Ooh. Calvin is a sitting duck right now. Yeah, look at him go. He's already got the move done. Purple final sector just for good measure.
Oh, but he's had a moment in the first corner and Calvin's right back on the back of him.
He has. We've just missed Bergen jumping into the pits to pop a medium on, so he's not doing what he did on Monday with the hard soft. He's gone hard medium. Sensible move, Bergen. We learnt the hard way that it doesn't actually work. And Konnichiwa now dragging our boy Calvin along at the moment. But Konnichiwa is now just 10.2 behind Night Shadow, who has yet to pit. But as you said earlier, the tyre whisperer, he's one of many in this league. Yeah. I'd say, along with Red Car Rambo, Ryan's the original tyre whisperer, in my opinion. Calvin's pretty magical when it comes to making a tyre last. He knows how to make things last. Again, his girlfriend will probably thank me for that one later. We'll leave that one there. And, of course, I mean, you've not been bad on tyres yourself, to be fair. Carl Egan's another one who's quite good.
I will say that the Elder Hornet is definitely the tyre whisperer out of the two of us.
We don't talk about him because
when he's not spinning, he looks after his tyres very well.
Look, he just wishes he was Simon Hornet rather than Chris Hornet. He wishes he was the younger Hornet. Ooh.
Oh, absolutely.
Melvin's DNF'd! Melvin's crashed on the way into the pits! Was he retired in the pits? I'm not sure. Oh, Melvin. Well, the safety car! Oh! Safety car! Right, so, who right now is absolutely laughing? I'll give you a clue. We're looking at him on screen. Jenkins the Joker, again, has pulled the trump card of just going long, going hard, and waiting for the strategy to fall into his hands. And has it? Oh boy, it has. Calvin as well will be happy about this. The man who will be most disappointed, Bergen, has just pitted. Admittedly, he's only dropped as low as 5th, but he's still going to be gutted. Because ultimately, he's pitted and could have had a cheap stop. He could lose position to Calvin for this.
He really could.
Konnichiwa, though, for him, it's not what he wanted because he had the lead to the likes of Kaiser Soze and Bergen and co who were behind him. This brings everyone into play. And speaking of play,
had a rotten time under the safety car. He's 18 seconds behind all of a sudden.
Either he's got a weird Delta glitch or he's just playing super duper duper safe with his timings.
Yeah.
Because, let's be honest, he was only about 10 seconds behind Gav.
Yeah.
Now he's 17. I think he's toying because he's just dropped a second and a half very quickly there. I think he's toying. He's just playing safe so he can go attack. But don't leave it too late, Connie, because Gav's in the pits, and I'm not being funny, but 15 seconds is not enough. Yeah, I think he's just toying. That gap's come right down to less than 12, well, just over 12 seconds now.
Goes.
Yeah, he should retain the lead. Calvin is the one that's going to be most angry out of this, because Calvin now will drop further down the order than he would have done. Connie retakes the lead of this race. Gav and Calvin are in the pits. Kaiser Soze, does he get past Calvin? Or, sorry, past Gav, I mean? Yes, of course he does. There's Night Shadow. He resumes P3. Bergen does get ahead of Calvin. He does just ahead. Maybe Calvin will be angry. Maybe he would have got ahead of Bergen had it not been for the slow pace of Konnichiwa. But ultimately, that can be discussed later. Right, let's have a little flick through the history books. So, Portugal. Racing-wise, it's not the most historical. But there is some history, of course, to be debated. Now, if we look at drivers from the land of the Portuguese, can you name any Portuguese drivers? Because there's only one that I'd heard of before looking up this earlier today.
Oh my
How many can you name?
Do you know what? I'm struggling to think of one at the moment.
There's 5. And only one has driven in F1 in the last 20 years.
I cannot name a single Portuguese F1 driver.
Okay, so
go on.
There are 5, as I said. I'll go through in order of when they first appeared. In 1958, Casimiro de Oliveira raced for Maserati.
Oh.
And he was also a Ferrari test driver. He didn't last for very long. Then there was Mario de Arajo Cabral, who raced in the late 50s and early 60s. Again, didn't last very long. Then Pedro Chavez raced in the 1990s for one season, failed to qualify in any of the 13 races he entered, and then left. And went to become a rally driver, so clearly not really cut out for track racing.
Yeah.
Then there's Pedro Lamy, who raced in the mid-90s for a few years. Some okay success, I guess. But the one we want to look at here is the only man to bring a podium home to the land of Portugal, Tiago Monteiro, who raced for Jordan in 2005. Teammates Narain Karthikeyan of India. And tell you what, I'll give you a bonus high five if you can guess what race he scored that podium at. It's a very controversial race. In 2005.
Right, I'm trying to cast my mind way back now. So, 2005 was an Alonso World Championship.
It was his first.
It was indeed.
Let me know if you want a clue. I've got a very nice clue for you.
Go on then, give me the clue.
So that year, only 3 teams of the 10 ran Bridgestone tyres. Does that trigger anything?
I mean, I was only 10 at the time, so you are really testing the recesses of my brain now.
I was only 11 and I remember it. I remember it very well, actually. Okay, so Martin Hills is, of course, correct. I don't doubt you for a second, Mr. Hills. You're as much of an encyclopedia as myself. So, very good. It was, of course, the US Grand Prix at Indianapolis. The penultimate race. No, I lie, actually, the third last race we had at Indianapolis. Mark Dennison, of course, got it right. And the tyre clue Mark also picked up on then. So, 7 of the 10 teams ran Michelin tyres, which all withdrew due to issues with the Michelin tyre not being able to cope with the banking of the final corner. Therefore, the 7 teams, 14 drivers, all pulled out the race after formation lap, leaving just 6 cars, Minardi, Jordan and Ferrari drivers, to race. And that meant that Schumacher and Barrichello got a 1-2, your beloved Michael Schumacher. Tiago Monteiro of Portugal in the Jordan picked up 3rd place.
Wow, there you
and
go.
that counts as an official podium. So those who say George Russell's second place at Belgium in 2021 in the Williams controversial, that's nothing compared to the Portuguese. Man, this is too young a man's hero. Fun fact for you. So yeah, he technically did bring a podium home to Portugal. Speaking of Portugal as a home for racing, do you know how many tracks in Portugal have hosted a Formula 1 Grand Prix?
Oh gosh. I feel like one is too obvious an answer.
One is not the answer. One is not the
I was
answer.
gonna say, 3, I'm gonna guess.
Boom. Got it in one. It is 3. Can you name the other 2 tracks? Because obviously you're going to name Portimao. Gav's just picked up a 5-second penalty. Also, 5 drivers, 6 drivers, 7 drivers. Oh, wow.
Oh, no.
Oh, okay, this will get reviewed in stewarding later. Just a reminder, everyone, pop your footage in stewarding. We'll have a look. Although, if the whole field gets it, then we're all good, surely.
Yeah, I mean, then we're just neutralised anyway.
Yeah, something like that. Right, so back to Portuguese tracks. So Portimao is, of course, one that has hosted 2 races.
I cannot remember the name of the other 2, no.
Okay, so Portimao of the Algarve we're here at. The previous one that raced from the mid-80s to the mid-90s, Ayrton Senna enjoyed racing around here along with Alain Prost and Nigel Mansell. Why did that Australian, I don't know. Was, of course, Estoril, which was a fantastic track.
Oh, yeah,
and
of course,
the other one was Boa Vista and Monsanto, which raced in the 1950s. But back to the present day, and we're back with a trademark Gavin Jenkins, super duper, super slow.
No, we're not. It's a Konnichiwa start.
Oh, whoops, I stand correct. But it's a Gavin Jenkins style safety car restart. But he's gone early. Gavin would never have done that. Gav would have gone to the line at 10 miles an hour. So Konnichiwa flies away. He's dropped Soze. Gav himself is now under huge pressure from Bergen. But look at Gav's straight line speed. Roaring away. Konnichiwa's had a moment in turn 1. Oh my word. Konnichiwa nearly losing it. Is under threat now from Kaiser Soze. We've just brought the penalties up onto the screen because while, of course, we've had an extremely exciting restart. It's Kaiser Soze stopping Gav. Bergen's now stopping turn 2. Bergen, the track limit penalty will go wide in turn 4. Kaiser Soze and a big threat. Bergen ran the outside of both of them. Can he pull it off? No, but Gav's hit Soze. Bergen got the wrong exit. So much more grip on exit turn 5. But that speed that Gav has in the straight line. That's a huge crash. Bergen has collided with Gav. Oh my word. What happened there, boys? Oh no. There was some aggression and need of them once they're back out there. We'll leave it at that because, of course, that will be reviewed, I'm sure, later. Both will feel extremely angry, I'm convinced. Meanwhile,
Simba may be about to boot me from the Discord for this.
Oh no! Back at the front, and Soze and Konnichiwa and Calvin and Stringy are all playing hard to get. Although penalties, we just saw a whole host of drivers pick up 5-second penalties. Again, this will get reviewed later. But the big notable ones here, Stringy B, 19 seconds of penalties. 19! And then you got Connor on 11, Barnstorp on 8, as is Bergen, and then there's a whole host of drivers on 3 and 5. It's going to cause some mix-up standings later, and our lovely man, Mr. Mark Simba Denison, with his tossing up his scores later, will have his work cut out. Wowzer. Let's just have a little chill for the moment. So obviously with big winners today, Calvin and Stringy B, who's just made a lovely move on Kaiser Soze there, who are now P2 and P3 are the big movers along with B17. Ailing Flop Award so far is going to Night Shadow, unfortunately, after that collision with Calvin. Sorry, not with Calvin, sorry, I lied, it was with Bergen. I do apologise, I am bad with my facts. I still can't believe that. Wow, it was extremely unfortunate for both drivers. They both looked committed.
They did, unfortunately, and it's a very difficult part of the track to go too wide on.
It is. Ultimately, it will come down to, was there a significant part of either car, depending on either viewpoint in play, to justify the room to be given. And I'm sure it will be reviewed in stewarding later. Both drivers are still, of course, racing, and the race is far from over. We've still got 6 more laps to go. DRS is very much enabled. That flappy flap will be coming open on any car within a second of the car ahead. And breathe.
Yes.
Wow, okay, so, I mean, our predictions have gone a bit wrong. Melvin, collisions and then DNFs. That's me cursing. I told you, I ruined Hill's races. Gav, you ruined his race. I think you can just take some blame for that. He's now down to 13th.
I'm so sorry, Gav. That's all I can say.
Between us, we've absolutely and utterly ruined this for all involved.
Yeah.
Who can we look out for a tight fight? Oh, tell you what, here it is. Kaiser Soze, Anthony, and Scratch Charisma. Soze out of ERS, by the way, having fought so hard with Stringy and Calvin on that safety car restart. Anthony and Scratch have still got plenty and look fantastically hungry to have a go. If all Scratch having a nibble in the back of the McLaren of Anthony. And right now, Soze, if he doesn't get DRS from Stringy V, and it looks like he will not, very much in trouble. And look who's coming to join the party. B17 in the Ferrari. Started at the back in P18, he's now to P7. A real contender for driver of the day.
He's already got the run on Scratch here.
He has. Meanwhile, looking ahead, we've got to just jump ahead and look as a move is done there by Anthony.
Very nice move there.
Indeed. Oh, very late on the brakes. And Scratch, there's a collision with Soze! There's a collision with Soze. Oh no, Scratch. Oh, there's another collision with B17 for Soze. Oh, disastrous for Soze. He's just lost he's just lost 3 positions in the space of, what, less than half a lap. Disastrous for him.
Only about 2 corners.
Exactly. Anthony's up to P4, Scratch now P5 on the soft tyre. B17, P6 and P7 now for Kaiser Soze on the hards. Let's get a look at the tyre life just to see. So Soze's on a much older tyre, but his tyre life, while being older, will come good. The other tyres will deteriorate much faster. So Boothie is under a bit of attack from Ghost Rider, and he
Band stopped at a moment.
Connor behind him. Oh no, band stop! Toby! No, Toby, no! Don't take out the advertisement boards or drift. That's not what you're here for. You're not Colin McRae. Oh no! Hold on a minute.
Oh,
Konnichiwa, by the way, went from having over a second clear of Calvin to having a Calvin ready for a playdate.
Oh, indeed.
Calvin is right with Konnichiwa. Oh my word. So, Martin Hill says, eek. Well, are you trying to eke out some words, or are you just exclaiming in surprise, shock and awe of what we're seeing? Hopefully it's all of the above. Calvin out of VRS, under big threat, by the way, from Stringy B, who's really come good as this race has gone on. But Konnichiwa just doesn't. He has, and Konnichiwa just doesn't have the pace. Ooh.
Calvin just caught that sausage curb.
He did. B17's just got past Scratch, by the way.
Oh, he has.
B17 coming very good late on in this race. 4 laps to go. Can he now get a job on Anthony? Let's have a penalty gander again. So obviously String B, that 19 seconds of penalties means obviously Anthony and Calvin will take penalties for being higher tier drivers. B17 is net P2 right now.
He is. And I think Scratch is going to jump all the way up to P3 with that. And Stringy B just got another 3 seconds.
Mark Dennison and I clearly thinking in sync, because as I changed the penalties, he requested for a penalties update. Simba, my friend, galore of penalties on the screen. Feast your eyes, sunshine. Scratch Charisma now under huge attack from Kaiser Soze, who's coming back after what was a very, very difficult couple of laps to him. Can he get the move done into turn 1 on the Scratch Charisma? Oh, look at the overspeed, he's coming! Oh yeah, this is bread and butter. The soft tyres on that Aston Martin have clearly just gone off the cliff.
Yeah.
Job done. Cutting above.
Oh, not again!
Ooh. So at turns 3 and 4 caused so much action, and Charisma's got the run. Can he make a move to turn 5? Here we go, Soze goes defensive, Scratch goes on the racing line, looks at the switchback through turn 5. He's got the switchback, fantastically done. What a fantastic move that was.
Stringy B had a moment.
Stringy B's had a huge moment. He has. That promotes Anthony to P3 and B17 to P4. Meanwhile, on the inside, can the out? Oh my word, Kaiser Soze, look at the inside there. That was brave. Oh my word, this fight for 5th, 6th and 7th is getting exciting. And it's not over yet because Ghost Rider, without penalties, is now creeping up.
Round!
Oh, Keezer, no! Oh, no. Oh, disaster. Boothie picks up another 3 seconds. He and Connor are both out on 11 seconds of penalties. Back to the front. Calvin still harassing the back of the Ferrari of Konnichiwa Beach. It's a very wide pitch straight here. Calvin and Connie both picking their lines early. Calvin's clearly got more pace right now, but Konnichiwa's got just enough straight line speed to hang on as Calvin very deep into turn 2 and 3. Now through turn 4, Connie doesn't have the best grip. Can Calvin keep close? He's got no ERS, and Calvin will suffer on the straight because of it, because Konnichiwa's still got plenty. He's jumping board with Ferrari, 26% to play with.
Oh,
Anthony, big drift.
Fighting now.
Indeed. Let's have a little flick back to the Alphas. Oh, Connor. It looks like Connor's just let his teammate through. As Mike Shadow has got back ahead. Clearly he has more pace than Connor feels he has right now, and Connor will defend from Kaiser Soze. It's all gone wrong for Soze in this late stage. He looked like he was in a great position. We've got a yellow flag. Ty Clear's gone round. Oh, let's have a look at position shift. No, let's keep on the penalties actually. Keep on the penalties for now. So, this race... Oh, Stringy B and Charisma are fighting hard. Let's have a look through the final sector. Rob Smith are fighting for yellow flag penalty. Don't know what's quite happened there. But here we go. Stringy B is ahead of this 3-car fight between himself, Scratch and Ghost Rider as we come on to the final lap of the race. Here we go. Scratch lining up Stringy B. This is Candy from a Baby, surely. The soft tire. Oh, he broke early. Stringy's gone very deep. I think Stringy ought to give that back, but there's a bigger problem at hand. The Ghost Rider had a look at the inside. Personally, I think Stringy should have gave that position back, but let's leave that be. We're going to move back to the front because there's a hell of a fight still between Konnichiwa Beach in the Ferrari and Calvin in the Red Bull. So coming through the midway part of this final lap. This race has flown by, you know.
It really has. Gab's getting past Ghost Rider now, sticking on the back of Boothie.
Oh, you have to tell us about it. We're going to have to stay with the front fight with the final sector now. The front two are still fighting away, so you have to tell us what happens. Here we go. Penultimate brake zone coming up. Can Calvin slide one in here? No, he can't. Konnichiwa just has enough. Will it be a drag race to the line? Will Calvin have anything left? I think Konnichiwa's got enough ERS. So, the winner today, provisionally before penalties, Konnichiwa Beach takes the flag. P1, Calvin P2, and P3, B17. Chases over the line to come P4. Stringy B, so many penalties, you couldn't believe he will drop massively down the order here, as will many, and I'm sure these penalties may get looked into later. But provisionally, that pushes Ghost Rider up to P5. Wow. Let's try and find someone crossing the line.
Wow.
What a chaotic end to the race. Bat Mazo's still going round towards the back. Let's just stay on board with him for the last bit of action that we can get. Wow, so provisionally before penalties, of course, that means Konnichiwa Beach. Congratulations on winning the race today. Calvin and Anthony, racing from the higher tiers, P2 and P3, will take 4 post penalties each, promoting, of course, B17 into P2, which is, of course, a fantastic result for him. We just have a quick look at the position change. B17, P18 on the grid to P2. That's a stonking drive.
It is.
Can't think of a better word for it. Ghost Rider P5, I believe that will put him up to P3, but obviously penalties may change things.
Yeah.
In fact, Mazo is the final man to take the flag and crosses the line.
And I hate to say it, but the flop award actually goes to Banstorp.
Oh, Toby Ailing flop Banstorp. Oh, Toby. Oh, the drive of the day for the game is B17. Simon, can you argue with that? I'm finding it hard to argue with that, personally.
I mean, yeah, he's had an absolutely brilliant race. I'm just looking back at the results quickly.
Indeed, we're just looking at your man, Konnichiwa, the race winner, taking his top step on that podium. joined, of course, by Calvin and Ant, tiers 2 and tier 1 respectively. So we'll let them see what celebrations and champagne sprays occur, and of course we shall quickly review the results again. I mean, I'm personally going with B17. It's a cracking drive from Kenichi, who's dominated this race, and it feels almost rude to ignore him, but B17, P8 to being a contender at the front at the end.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm going to have to go for B17 as well. He had an absolutely cracking race.
Yeah, it was a fantastic drive, and wow. So yeah, here are your results, of course. Let us know if you have disagree with this over drive of the day. We're both going with the man, Carl, aka B17, and the Ferrari. I think it's a fair comment. He had a cracking race today.
Yeah.
Although shout out to both Ghost Rider and Kenichi for both receiving no penalties. I know other drivers have an unfair one for the yellow flag infringement, which is a game glitch, we know. So please pop it in the stewarding and we can review it. The top 10 rounded out, of course. P4, B17, 5th, Ghost Rider, 6th, Kaiser Sele, 7th, Scratch Charisma, 8th, Carl Bitty Edens, 9th, Will Smith, and 10th, Gav Night Shadow Jenkins. So, Gav scrapes a point after early collision with Bergen, who fights back to P11. Ironically, they finished very close together on track, but we'll leave that one there. Then the rest of the drivers rounding out the grid, just obviously we'll see them there. Sambal and Melvin unfortunately did not reach the end of the race, and Bat Mesa was 2 laps down. He just didn't have a good day today, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So, driver of the day, B17, race winner, of course, Kenichi with Beach. Thank you everyone for joining in, and thank you Simon for, frankly, what has been nothing short of a love affair.
A pleasure to finally do our first comms together.
It happens. Hooray!
Yes.
For those who aren't familiar, Tier 4 is coming up, so don't run away, because there's some more to come, and if you enjoyed that, I'll tell you what, Tier 4 is even better than Tier 3 when it comes to close action and racing. And I know I can't believe I'm saying that because after how good Tier 3 is, Tier 4 will be just as good. So tune in. In 22 minutes, we'll get going. Of course, I think you'll be joined by the dulcet tones of, I believe it's Connor and Rob for Tier 4.
Yes.
So, again, that's a fantastic partnership. Nearly as good as of course, the Hornet and the Blowhole. I think that's got to be the elite partnership, of course.
The Leeds United top team.
Yes, Team Peacock. Anywho, thank you everyone for tuning in and for watching. Give us a like on all the socials. Subscribe to YouTube and get following all the videos. And come and say hello and join the Discord if you want to have some fun. But for now, thank you and good night.
Bye.